Good morning, story chasers. It is a cold morning. As you saw, it's 25 degrees outside still. I'm gonna go check on the cup of water that I put underneath the van yesterday to see if it actually froze. You know, I'm hoping that taking all the water out of the van helped, out of all the pipes, out of the freshwater tank and the gray tank, so we'll see. But it's gonna be another day inside. So I thought, one, I wanted to update you on what's going on with this winter weather storm and how we're surviving it in the van. And also, I want to talk to you about something that I differ on with some people in the RV world, and that is the truth behind traveling with debt and why I went into this lifestyle even with debt. But I wanted to give you guys some information, I guess, that might be helpful to you guys because it's a little bit controversial. I'm about to go outside, which is why I'm all bundled up. So I've got this coat on, hat, hoodie, and I also have a black, here it is, black puffy vest underneath this. So I want to go out and check on that water real quick. And then Lily, she just got up. Lily, baby, do you need to go outside? I'm sure you do. Let's put your jacket on. It's cold. Here, scoot back, scoot, sit down. There you go. One in, there we go. One in, next one. One in, this way, there we go. Stay. Lily, stay. Hold on, girl. Hold on. There we go. You got going. You can't feel better. Oh, you stayed warm and hot. You trying to lick my lipstick. You know you can't lick my lipstick. You can't. Oh, Lily. Lily stayed nice and warm last night. I had to take her jacket off actually because she was getting on top of the covers because I had that water bottle in there last night. This water bottle, it has a little sweater on it. Stayed really nice and toasty in the bed last night, didn't it, Lily? So Lily had to take off the jacket and get on top of the covers, which was chilly, so I had to take her jacket off. All right, you ready to go outside? Oh my God. The door was stuck and it's icy. You gotta be careful. Whoa, it's really icy. It's all ice right here. And the door is iced over. You can see the tracks. Woo, yep. Let's check that water. Oh yeah, it's frozen. Completely frozen. Okay. That means that if there's any water, oh my God, it's so cold. If there's any water in there, pipes, anywhere, it's frozen. Yeah, this is a sheet of ice right here. I'm gonna have to help Lily out. Oh, okay. Come on, Lily. Hold on, baby. You have to be careful, girl. Hold on, let me get you. Be careful. Oh, look at my shoes. They're iced over. Oh my God. The handle's iced. Oh my God. It is so cold out there. My fingers are freezing. This step is a solid sheet of ice. We had to be careful. Had to hold on to the handlebar going down. Oh, Lily couldn't even get on it because it was so slippery. Oh my gosh. Okay. Time to warm up. Get coffee in me. It's a breakfast. Oh my God, I cannot believe it's cold. This is crazy in Texas. We've got 4 more days of this. Not where it's going to be, well, tonight it'll be down in the 20s again. Then it'll be back up. And then Thursday, the day I'm supposed to leave, it's supposed to be 20-something degrees at night again. It's madness. And then after that, it's like 70s during the day, 50s at night. That's how it's normally supposed to be. Not this crazy cold weather. So much for touring around South Padre Island. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I gotta do something before I leave here. Lily, do you want this treat? Come on, girl. Get it. I'm gonna get it. Come on. You gonna get it? Good girl. That's a good treat, huh, Mama? My coconut oil is frozen solid, so I had to chunk it up a little bit into flakes. Alright, I've got my chocolate oatmeal and my coffee, my water with, this time I didn't put lemon in it because my lemons are going bad, so I used apple cider vinegar. And I had a cup of this emergency vitamin C packet in the water this morning, just to help keep my immune system up along with all my other vitamins, especially because it's been really cold and I felt like my throat was a little bit, I wouldn't say sore, but almost like I had a little bit of a cough this morning, but I think it was because it was just so cold last night and breathing in all that cold air. But I feel fine, no worries. Alright guys, I am doing this video from my bed because it is so cold over there, and it's warmer back here right now because the heat is all directed this way. So anyways, how do you like my little pink lights, by the way? I have these cool lights that I like putting up. It just gives it a little bit of a different flair. Anyway, so hence I'm bundled up because it's cold, even though I'm on electric right now, shore power. The furnace is just not keeping up with how cold it is. But I wanted to give you guys some information, I guess, that might be helpful to you guys, because it's a little bit controversial, I think, because there are some very definite opinions about this, but I'm always sharing my experience and how I've done things and kind of what I guess think about certain situations because I've experienced it or I've had some knowledge about it in the past. So let me just start from the beginning. The topic that I want to talk to you about today is about being in debt and being a nomad. So here's the thing. I am in debt. I was when I first started as well. That may come as a shock to some people. Here's the thing. The controversial issue is that there are people out there who say that you cannot come into this lifestyle if you have debt. And I wholeheartedly, absolutely disagree with that statement. And I'm going to give you the reasons why. Now, I'm not condoning debt. I'm not saying that you should be in debt, that you should rack up a bunch of debt. Not saying that whatsoever. What I'm saying to you is that you can live this lifestyle as a traveling nomad in debt, because you were in debt before in a sticks and bricks house too. So just because you were in debt then doesn't mean you can't be in debt here as well and start working towards paying it off. In fact, many people have come into this lifestyle as a traveling nomad in order to help pay off their debt faster, because this can be a much cheaper lifestyle for you. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let me start from the beginning. I've had this dream of RVing for a very, very long time. And then I got really serious about it. It took me about 5 years to really kind of figure things out, what I wanted and what I wanted to do. Now, during that time, I was living in downtown Seattle, paying $2,100 a month for a 480 square foot apartment and a parking space. Quite a bit of money, and I wanted to get out of renting because it was so expensive. So I built a home and purchased it just north of Seattle, and I furnished it, which is what really put me into debt, was the furnishing of it. And I really thought that I was going to stay in that house for a while and kind of put off my dream of RVing for a little bit. And then I thought, well, I could rent the house out when I start RVing. That just wasn't the case. Literally the day that I moved into the house, I was dreaming about RVing. To say it was a mistake to buy the house is not actually true. I mean, I did get into debt because of the furnishings and stuff like that. But and of course the mortgage, but I made about $40,000 off of that house when I sold it a year later. Of course, there's the deal with the furnishings. I sold everything that I owned except what could go into the RV. So I did lose money on that aspect of it. I was working a job that was just literally slowly killing me. And it was starting to speed up the killing process. I was so stressed out. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, sometimes 100 hours a week. And it was a dynamic company, and the company is great. Nothing wrong with the company, just it was very stressful. It was a position that where you had to be on all the time and working, you know, just 24/7, constantly being on emails. I just didn't want that for my life anymore. And I had started to really think about what was happening and how I could start changing it. And then I went to the doctor for a health checkup and came back with some bad blood work. I was borderline diabetic, borderline for high cholesterol, borderline for high blood pressure. I was stressed to the max. My adrenal glands were shot. It was a recipe for disaster. Like, I think if I had stayed in that job too much longer, I really do think that I could have had a stroke or a heart attack because I was just so stressed out. I could feel it in my body. And I just, of course, didn't want that for my life. I was too young for that. Anybody's too young for that. Nobody wants that, right? So I decided I better speed up this process and start RVing because I needed to find some happiness within my life. It was either that or quit my job at the time. And of course, you know, financially speaking, I needed the job. I did that. I bought an RV. It was a Class C. I sold my house, everything I owned within 30 days of buying the RV and went out on the road. And I'll never forget the time that I was in the driveway, sitting in my RV, ready to pull out. I had just handed my keys over to the realtor and I had this amazing feeling of freedom that washed over me. I, to this day, can feel it and remember it, and it felt so amazing. And I get emotional about it because it was, you know, a dream of mine, and it felt so good to have this freedom coursing through my body and knowing that I had this adventure and this journey to go on, and had no idea what was going to happen. No idea. So I still had the job, and I had debt, and here's the thing is, I made a decision at some point in time before, let me back up because I missed a little part here. Before I decided to go RVing, I was like, well, how am I going to afford this? You know, how am I going to be able to afford it? So I crunched some numbers. My whole background is finance and accounting. And so I crunched numbers and I figured out that I could live a lot cheaper RVing and pay off that debt. Now, I could have stayed in that job and paid off the debt a lot quicker. So if I had stayed in the job one more year, I could have paid off most of my debt. I have student loans. I had credit card debt from buying the house. So those are the big things. And my student loans were not cheap. I'm talking like $60,000 in student loan debt. Ridiculous amounts. It got me, you know, to where I am now, my career. But it was a lot of money. I went to a private school, and I also went a little bit later in my adult years. So that's why I still had the student loan debt. I had a lot of debt, and I could have stayed in that job and paid that off a lot quicker. But I had this impending feeling that I was dying this slow death, and my body couldn't take it anymore. My mind couldn't take it anymore. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to be able to pay the debt off if I die and have a stroke or a heart attack. I don't want that. The only way I'm going to be able to pay the debt off and get the happiness factor back for me was to go out on the road. So that's the decision that I made. Mostly because when I crunched the numbers, I could live in a van or a Class C or whatever, live on the road a lot cheaper because I'm not typically going to RV parks. I'm boondocking, so there's no cost for boondocking typically. You're going out onto free land. The only cost at this point was my Class C or my RV, which was significantly lower than paying a mortgage or renting an apartment. Significantly lower. Now, I chose to buy new. You could even purchase something that's used and get that number even further down, or pay cash for it if you have cash. That was a decision that I made. It was, you know, this hard decision of staying in a job and feeling trapped, golden handcuffs, and, you know, I actually walked away from a profit sharing plan that we had that was roughly around $75,000, I think, at the time when I left in my account. I completely walked away from it. It takes 5 years to mature, but again, it's the golden handcuffs, and the company took care of us. They were a really great company, but I couldn't do it anymore. So I decided to leave, and I started this life, and I have absolutely zero regrets about doing that. paying the debt off slower because obviously I had to start this company and I wasn't making that much money. It takes a while to get the company going. But here's the thing is I feel so much better. I'm happy. I've had my ups and downs and struggles, various little life things, but nothing like what I was dealing with before. Nothing. There's just no comparison whatsoever. This lifestyle for me has been cheaper. It has been more rewarding. It has fulfilled my dreams. It has given me my happiness back. My stress is lower. I can focus more. I have my own business now. I'm happy. Like, it's amazing. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. You might be in the same situation or a similar situation where you have debt and you feel like this lifestyle you cannot do because you have all of this debt. But here's the thing. I invite you to take a look at it and see what are your numbers. I know people don't like to look at that sometimes. I understand. I come from an accounting background, so it's rather easy for me, but I've made it easy for you guys too. So down in the description box of this video, there's a free budgeting course that I put together that tells you everything that you need to know about budgeting for this lifestyle. I even give you my own budget so you can see what my budget is and how I'm living this lifestyle. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people ask me, like, I don't have my debt in there and I also don't have my RV expense inside that budget. The reason why is because that's very, very specific to me. So you'll need to add in, and I have a line item for that. You'll need to add in what you think the cost of your RV would be. Whether you're paying cash for it, there would be no monthly cost for you, or whether you're owning it and you finance it. So you'll need to put that in there as well, and any of your debt. The other thing that people talk about is that, oh, this lifestyle, you have maintenance and upkeep with your RV or your van, and therefore it's more expensive. You still have that on a house, a regular sticks and bricks. So you living in a house and having debt, and you living in a van or an RV and having debt is really no different. They're very similar costs, but this just happens to be a cheaper lifestyle. It can be. I mean, unless you want to get a huge Class A that's gonna cost you a ton of money, then it's not. But you need to crunch the numbers for yourself. Every situation is different about what you can afford and how you can live this life cheaper. There's so many used vans or RVs out there that you can purchase. You can customize your own. You can buy your own van, customize it yourself, and come out cheaper maybe. I've seen people who've taken a van and just thrown a bed in there with a cooler and a bucket to go to the bathroom in, and that's what they live in, and they're happy with it. But that really depends on you. That's one extreme, and the opposite extreme is getting something completely brand new and has lots of luxury items in there. There's two different extremes. So the good thing is that you have all of the stuff in between that you can look at as far as your lifestyle and what you need to get for your home on wheels. So that can really play an impact in your budget. I invite you to take a look at that budgeting course. It's free. There's no charge to you whatsoever. It was just a common question that I get a lot, and I really wanted to help people out so that they could figure out what they need to do to put their budget together and see if they can live this lifestyle cheaper. Click the link below and you'll find that information. So that is my spiel about the truth behind living in debt on the road. You can have debt in a house, you can have debt on the road as well. It doesn't matter. You're still gonna have it. You might as well go out there and be happy and travel and pay your debt off a little bit sooner, potentially, because you're living a cheaper lifestyle. I don't know, it just makes sense to me. I just feel like it's a win-win situation, and why wouldn't you do that? So I know that there are people out there, again, who say that you shouldn't do that, that you should save up enough money so that you don't have debt on the road, but you're gonna have debt at your house or debt here on the road, so what's the difference? There's really not. You just need to make sure that when you do your budget that you have maintenance stuff built into your budget just like you would on a house that you're budgeting for. Now the difference is if you rent an apartment or if you rent a home, then clearly you're not going to have like the repairs and maintenance expense that you would if you owned it or you owned your own RV. But I guarantee you can figure out a way to work those numbers and get out on the road if that's something that you really, really want to do, even in debt, pay that debt off faster or live a cheaper lifestyle this way. Again, the big component, there's actually two big components. The first big component is picking the RV that's right for you, that will allow you to drop your living costs. And the second one is boondocking more, not staying in RV parks where that costs money, or get the 1,000 Trails membership. You do have to pay for, but it can be a cheaper option for you, and you can go from camp to camp. Again, you have to work through those numbers. Those are the two big costs with RVing, and of course the repair and maintenance. Now, I bought brand new. A lot of my stuff was under warranty, so I haven't had any huge expenses for that. As you might know, I have a Heimer Active van and we lost our 6-year warranty, so I do have to pay for those items that are going to go wrong inside of this van. So because of that, when I first started RVing, actually, in my Class C and then in this van, I've always built in a budget for repairs and maintenance, just to kind of build up that bucket of money for repairs and maintenance, so that when the time comes, I have enough money to pay for those items and don't have to worry about it. I can pay cash for it. I don't have to put it on a credit card. That's another thing for you to think about as you put your budget together. I wanted to give you some hope so that you can really think about realizing your dream of coming out on the road and traveling, and that it is possible even in debt. You don't have to wait until you pay it off, because you might be able to pay it off a lot quicker on the road. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions about this, go ahead and leave me a comment below. Let me know if you took the budgeting course. Also, once you take it, let me know, did it come out better for you to actually go out on the road and travel full-time versus living in your sticks and bricks house? I would really, really love to hear from you guys on that. Lily and I are going to stay warm. What? We may just be in bed all day. I love you, girl. Guys, I so appreciate you watching this video, and make sure you're out there chasing your dreams, collecting those moments, creating those stories. That is what story chasing is all about. Think about it. Even if you're not thinking about RVing, maybe you're still living in your sticks and bricks house, and maybe you have no intention of traveling whatsoever, but surely you have a dream. Surely you have a goal that you want to accomplish. Write it down. What is it? Think about it. And how can you get there? How can you make life interesting and accomplish that goal, accomplish that dream, and not wait until it's too late? Maybe it's something that you thought you couldn't obtain until you did X. What is that X? And overcome that X thing and do it. It sounds simple, but it really is that simple. Sometimes the decision is the hardest part about reaching your goals. The decision to actually take action can be the hardest thing. So I invite you to start taking action. You've probably heard me say it a million times, but consistent baby steps daily will get you there. I'm doing it too, guys. There's so many things in my life that I've been very, very successful at, but my weight, and I am desperately figuring that out right now. I've been through therapy, I've been through all kinds of things with it, but the one thing that I have learned, and I should have taken my own advice about it, is the consistent baby steps every single day. And for me, that is the self-discipline of waking up in the morning, meditating, journaling, setting an intention, reflecting at the end of the night, doing another meditation, and really viewing my body as this divine instrument of health and well-being, and that it sheds weight effortlessly. I'm not obsessed with food. I don't emotional eat. So those are my intentions and things that I think about. So for me, that's what I do to stay on track. And guess what? It is working. I've lost 6 pounds now in the last, week and a half to almost 2 weeks, and doing very, very well with it. So I'm getting there, but I'm implementing some new things in my life that I think will really, really help me. So I'm doing it too, guys. If I can do it, you can as well. People tell me all the time that I'm so courageous to do this, or they say all these really nice things about me, but trust me, I'm just like anybody else. I just decided to do it. Just decided. When I first started RVing, I just decided and made some decisions and crunched those numbers. I really figured out what it was going to take. I'll give you an update with what's happening with the RV. Hopefully things are good. It's supposed to thaw out tomorrow. Yeah, fingers crossed, everything's good. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Good night.